Hello, welcome to AK Lighting. We're going to be talking about a landscape lighting install where we had a multitude of different lights that we were able to install for this customer. This was the house that we were working with. Like I said, there were a lot of different lights, and usually what we're looking for when we get to a house is where to put the transformer. And so we chose this side that had the wall outlet, and anytime that we're planning out for the transformer, we're always going to be trying to get the wire as hidden as possible, which normally means digging and burying the wire. A lot of the times with houses, we'll end up going right next to the house in order to be able to keep the wire as hidden and as short as possible. In areas where we have trees, there usually be a lot of roots, and we have a large bar that we use in order to kind of chop away at it a little bit, as we can see here. Most customers that we do installations for will want lights on both sides of their sidewalk, and so a lot of the times we will have to cut across it. This one, it didn't really look like it'd be that feasible right in front of the house, so instead of going right there, we went around and through the little rock garden wall and across a different crack or a different seam in the sidewalk, was just routed around the sidewalk. The way we do that is we use an angle grinder. Sometimes we'll use a chisel with the hammer that you can see on screen, or we will use a table saw. We're using the angle grinder here in order to widen the gap in between the cement to allow for our wires to be able to fit through in that gap, so that way they can be hidden and also prevent them from damage. That is the primary reason that we try and hide the wires, is so that it will prevent critters, people like landscapers or your lawn maintenance, from damaging the wire. And you can see that after we've used our angle grinder, we have made it so there is a lot more room for the wire. It wasn't as deep as we normally like to go, so we had to put some plastic on the side to prevent it from being cut by a weed whacker, and we did that on both sides. And so as we're trying to place the wire, trying to get it as snugly down and deep into the gap as possible. It's not very often that we have to put this plastic guard on the wires, but again, just to make sure that it's not going to be damaged by weed whackers or be found by any critters. We just want to make sure that it was going to be able to survive that. Also, usually we'll end up only having to push one wire across, but we were putting two in order to lower the stress on the voltage, as well as since the lights on the other side of the house were so far away, we wanted to make sure that it had the proper amount of voltage going to it, so that way it would be powerfully lit. And you can see we did get the wire pretty far into the sidewalk. We have a product called polymer sand. We just call it sand. We pour it on top of the wire to protect it more from element, as well as making it blend in with whatever surface that we're working with. And we try and get that as evenly spread as possible, so that way it's not just lumpy and clumpy. We want it to look nice. That's a focus of ours as we are putting the wires and the sand in. This sand requires a small amount of water in order to activate it and harden it to make it more long lasting. And a lot of times we'll smooth it out with our hand and brush. And this is kind of what it looks like after we've done all of that. And this is what the gap looked like before we put that in. And that'll dry and then look just like a brand new. We also had to put a fence light right above this gate to help with their security, as well as it just is a nice spot to light up. And in this back area, this tree was going to have moonlights to light up the grassy patch. But you can see there's a big problem with this tree. This birdhouse seemed to have fallen over. But it didn't just fall over, it seems to have fallen over many years ago, because it hasn't been grown into the tree. And this is something I've not come across before, but that is what we had to work with. And again, with protecting our wires, we have this wrap called conduit in order to protect it, primarily from squirrels, on the tree, and we mount it with some brackets. And these This is a close-up of the moonlights after they are installed. We have this first one on the lower branch, and we have this one on a higher branch, and they're pointing at different areas to light up their yard. We have a little bit of wire that is exposed before the conduit, but that is very normal. We have the wire going from the ground by the fence going all the way up, and you can see the conduit has been spray painted. We normally do that to help blend it in. These are a couple of the fence lights that we were installing, and you can see they're not very noticeable. There were quite a few that we were installing at this house, and since the fence line was where it was, we actually were able to put the wire behind the fence and then connect it all there. As you can see, there's not really any wire visible on our side at all. Thank you for watching. If you would like this installed at your house, please just go visit our website. It's in the description. Or check out this other video, which is a masterclass on how to improve the quality lighting of your home. Thank you, and have a good day.